What did she say?
She said she married me for worse, better or worse, but not for lunch. So 3 years with me, she said, you need to go back to coaching. And I've enjoyed it. And, I was out for 3 years and had never met Coach Flood. He called me the year before, and I was interested then. But my oldest daughter got married, so I said, unless you have an open date on October 5th, I don't think I can do it, because I got too much money sucked into this wedding. So, he called me again. I guess it was late January, I think, wasn't it, Coach? And he asked me if I was interested. It was on, I believe, a Friday night. And I said I might be, and he said, why don't you get on a plane and come up? And I really enjoyed meeting him. I liked him a lot. I think he was a very straight shooter, very honest person. I was really taken back by the facilities here. I didn't know anyone on the staff, so that's usually an unusual thing. But I've enjoyed my time here. I've enjoyed coaching the kids. I've enjoyed working for Coach Flood, and it's been a good experience.
Ralph, Ryan Dunleavy from Asbury Park Press. Could you just talk a little bit about your work with Gary so far? He's been obviously praiseworthy of something you did with his back foot, changing his mechanics a little bit to get a better zip on the ball.
It really wasn't a big deal. I mean, when I was watching him throw, obviously I came into this situation. I didn't even know what the depth of Rutgers football team was, what they had. When I watched the film, I noticed he threw up on his toes. Then they told me he had arm trouble. And when I watched him in spring practice, I said, when I was in the NFL, the big thing that everybody stressed was to put your whole heel in the ground, very much like a pitcher, and push off your back foot. And now what you're doing is you're getting your legs and your hips into your throw. And once he did that, I think it took a lot of the stress off his arm, but I think it also made his arm a lot stronger because he was throwing all arm before. So, I don't know why nobody else recognized that. It was just something I saw.
Ralph, I guess with Gary, you started seeing him probably in February. What are the biggest changes you've seen from then to now working with him?
From what people have told me, he would lose focus from time to time. I see that a little bit, but he's usually pretty focused. He doesn't say a lot in meetings. He takes a lot of notes in meetings. I've had quarterbacks, and I encourage them all to either take notes on their iPad or to write them down. He writes all his notes down. He has been very focused with me. I have had no problems with him. I think he has a very good football intellect. He sees things. He learns very fast. He has very good vision. And what gets Gary into trouble sometimes is he's so confident that what he can do, he lets his confidence override sometimes his decisions. And he'll force the ball in there. Now, a lot of times he wins on those forces too, and everybody thinks it's a great throw, but when he loses, then it's an interception. That's what we want to cut down, the interceptions, and make good decisions and not just look for people. That's my job, to get the ball to people that can do something with it, at least try to do that anyway. Sometimes you can't always do that because the defense will take it away, but I've been very impressed with the kid. I think he has a chance to be a really good quarterback.
Ralph, Matt Hladek, Rivals.com. You say Gary has a chance to be, a pretty good quarterback or a really good quarterback. How far along in that process is he, and at what point do you think you can kind of assess how far he will go along in that process?
I think a lot of that has to do with the whole team. It's not just Gary. I think Gary can only do what he's capable of doing. He needs protection. He needs people that run good routes and get open. He needs to make the right reads. That's what he does. If we get all those things working, I think that'll happen. But he got hit a lot last year. I think that affected things too. But we're working very hard to see that we throw the ball quicker and do a better job with our pass protection, and hopefully that we can get him on track.
Ralph, a lot's been talked about your relationship with Gary. How have you been able to build such a relationship with him so quickly?
You know, I just pretty straight shooter. You know, I like having fun in my meetings. I went about 3 months and no one laughed at my jokes, so I really kind of thought I lost it. Then one day there was a power surge, and like the lights went out. And I said, "Oh my God, am I having a seizure?" That cracked them up. So I don't know. Since then, they've been they're laughing at a lot of my jokes now. So the meetings are really good. I think you need to have fun, you know, and it's a good room I have. You know, they can poke fun at them, and they can poke fun at me, and it's done with respect, and we're still learning football. So you know, when you meet with, you know, we meet with them probably 3 hours a day. So you're with them, you know, all the time, and it can be a grind if you don't lighten it up a little bit.
Coach Jason Conklin, who's 12.
Okay, there.
Over here, yeah. Is
I thought you were a ventriloquist. I was looking over here.
Does Gary compare to any quarterbacks you've coached in the past?
The thing that Gary has in common with them is his vision. When I say vision, there's a lot of quarterbacks that will look at receivers and make their decision. But I'm of the belief you have to look at defenders to make your decision. Gary can see defenders. A lot of guys don't. It becomes a blur out there until they learn to settle down. You know, the really good quarterbacks I've had that. Joe Hamilton, who I'm very proud of, is being inducted into the National Collegiate Hall of Fame this year. He was 5'9", if that, but could see. I've had 6'5" guys in the NFL that couldn't see. I don't think that's taught. I think that's God-given. Gary, I think, has that. So, you know, it's really up to all of us, myself, team, the offensive players, to play well so he can use that talent.
Do you think he needs some of your help to deal with some of the pressure that kind of surrounds him on a daily basis of being the starting quarterback?
Well, that comes with the territory. I mean, I've had guys that had trouble handling that. You know, the way I look at it, you only can do what you can do. If you've given your best, and you know, that's all you can expect out of anybody. That's all you can expect out of myself or any of our players. They're going to have good days and they're going to have bad days, just like you probably do. So, but dealing with the pressure, to me, the only pressure they should have is on themselves to perform well. That's all I worry about. I don't worry about anything else. I can look myself in the mirror and know I prepared, do that all I possibly could to do a good job. What anybody says about me or what anybody feels about me, that's irrelevant to me. In my heart, I know what I've done and what I got to do better. So I'm my biggest critic.
Coach Patrick for JCTV. You've been around for a long time.
Long time.
Is there anything about understanding this team and applying the years that you know about offense to this team that makes this team better or different to make it successful?
So we really don't know that yet. You know, we're in. This is going to be our 11th practice coming up. I will tell you this: we have made a tremendous amount of improvement since spring practice. I'm amazed at some of the kids where they were in spring practice and where they are now. Now, we're going to find out if that's good enough. But until we play some other people, then I think we'll get a feeling of where we're at and what we got to do. And, you know, every team at this time, every team in the country, unless you're, you know, one of the elite, you know, have people banged up and injuries and whatnot. So it's how you come out of camp. I think what kind of start you get off to the season. And then to me, when I was a head coach, my teams always kind of got better. We usually started slow and we got better. So I don't know how it's going to be when I'm an assistant coach. I hope we get off to a good start. But, you know, we got to just keep working every day and try to get better every day, no matter what. Whatever we win or lose the first game, that's over. We're working on the second game. We take them one game at a time and see where we are at the end of the season.
Ralph, you've got a pretty good stable at running backs. Other than, I guess, how important is it to capitalize on the talent you have back there? And other than the obvious of dividing up carries, what can you do to make sure each guy's, maximizes their ability?
Well, I think, our top three guys, I think you can roll them in and out myself. I think they're pretty good players. I'm thinking about doing some things to get them on the field. I think we have some skilled people that are good players also. And so I'm trying to incorporate all that. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do because you'll put it in the paper. You have to tune in and watch the game and see if we talk about it after the game. But yeah, I'm going to try to use the talents that we have to our utmost. Yeah.
Rob,
Yeah.
what do you see out of your receiver core and the depth?
We got this transfer kid, Andrew Terselli from Kansas. I think he will help us. He has a rangy kid. He's probably 6'3", better, runs pretty good. I think Janarian Grant is an explosive player. He's a guy that has really improved catching the ball and really has made a lot of big plays, not only in spring practice, but in fall camp. And then Leonte Carew, he seems to come. I think that's part of Gary's problem. He loves the kid. I guess they went to school together. And he could have four guys on him, and Gary will throw it to him. And Leonte usually comes up with. That's the problem, And so, and then with Tyler Croft, I think you got another guy. So you got some skilled players plus the running backs. That you got to try to find a way to get the ball to these guys and still have a running game too. I think I want to be balanced and run the pass, and not that when I say that I want to have the ability to. If you're going to take away the run, then I'm going to throw it. If you want to take away the pass, then I want to be able to run it. So really, the defense is really going to dictate whether we're running or passing. So, what I'm hoping that is we can stay healthy in the offensive line and really get better there and work and get better on our protections and that I think is the key to our team.
Got time for two more questions here off DanDuggan.com. Just curious, what's it been like to get back into recruiting and just how big a role you played in that?
I've played not as big a role as some of the other coaches. I recruit most of the quarterbacks. I did go out during spring recruiting and watch some of those kids. I do visit with them when they come here, and I enjoy that very much. But Coach Fudge kind of takes some pity on an old man, and has not really involved me as much as he could. Let's put it that way. And I'm very appreciative of that.
Rob, it's still a long ways away, but what do you think the emotions will be like in returning to Maryland and the season?
That's the last game of the year. Ask me that question that week because I'm worried about Washington State right now.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.